So my name is Leon Vandergetz. I'm the executive director of NoVA Prism Center, a local LGBTQIA library and community center.
So what inspired you to create the center?
So I was originally inspired after I started my own transition journey and was overseas at the time. I was planning to come back to the US to teach, but as I was almost literally as I was looking at plane tickets, I saw um, the book banning protests rise up in Fairfax County of particularly genderqueer being banned or challenged rather. And at that time, it really struck me that here I was planning to go teach in public schools, and books about people just like me
Yeah.
were being challenged for their appropriateness for being around youth. And at that point, I decided to pivot and basically say that, okay, you can take the books out of the school libraries, but you cannot take them from the people, because I will start this new library that will have and collect all these books and make them as publicly accessible as humanly possible. And so fighting those book bans and challenges became a passion of mine, and supporting the LGBTQ community is part and parcel with my goals.
Yeah, how important is just, especially on a historical sense, to understanding the past to shape the future?
Well, it's deeply important. I mean, there's that old adage, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Um, and I've been seeing in the present a lot of forgotten past, and to some extent, it it seems at first blush that it can't be helped, because we lost so many people in the 70s and 80s due to the AIDS crisis
Yeah.
that a lot of their stories aren't being told. And so you have kids growing up who think they're the only queer person to have ever existed, and that this is like something new, when in reality there are um there have been LGBTQ people going back for as long as humanity has been around. But due to things like the AIDS crisis and hate that causes people to stay closeted, a lot of those stories don't get told.
When I was doing my research, I saw you've done things mental health focus. How important is it to be out there so other people can share their stories?
Oh, it's critically important. According to the Trevor Project, the difference in suicide rates and mental health, um, like feelings of being mentally healthy, feelings of being supported, feelings of knowing other people are out there, are increased dramatically when LGBTQ youth have a affirming home or affirming community or affirming school. And so by being visible and by being affirming, we are quite literally saving lives. Um, and by that token, we see a lot around the holidays where everyone from youth to adults say things like, I don't have anyone to spend Christmas with this year because my family kicked me out and they don't talk to me anymore. And in response, we started doing a Friendsgiving event where the community could come together and celebrate gratitude. We started, we have a holiday cookie exchange going on tomorrow as of this recording, and we're kind of bringing our community together to celebrate in community with each other, knowing that these might be the only celebrations some of our community see, because they don't talk to their family. They don't have any other support system than the LGBTQ community. And support systems are also incredibly helpful and important with mental health concerns, because without them, people are just, I mean, quite literally on their own, but they
Yeah.
don't get, they may not have rides to doctor's appointments. They may not have people checking in on them to see if they're doing okay. And just that feeling of being alone can really have an impact on someone.
Have you seen, especially younger people, uh, the stigma of just talking about mental health, dissipating a little bit?
Absolutely. It's been really wonderful seeing the younger generation, um, Gen Z, and I think there's Gen Alpha now, um, being open to talking more about mental health, engaging in connecting with each other over mental illness or neurodiversity, and really not feeling that pressure to be, with giant scare quotes, normal. Um, they're seeing the kids really celebrate their differences and celebrate um, what what makes them special, even when it makes them struggle. And finding those connections with each other is gives me a lot of hope.
When I was looking online, I was looking at the center, but you also, like you said earlier, about community focus. So, how important is it not only to educate, with books, but educate just being there for people?
It's again, it's deeply important. Our books are part of what we're about, but we also do workshops, which we're working on bringing up to a monthly frequency so that we can teach skills and connect with that. So, like, for example, most trans men and trans masculine people that I've spoken to were never taught how to shave.
Hmm.
And so we're going to be bringing in a local barber shop at some point to run a workshop on teaching these guys how to shave. Um, Other people are who feel pain because of how their voice sounds. We've brought in a vocal coach to teach voice gendering and how that works for other people's perception so that they can play with their voice and modulate it to be perceived more how that they perceive themselves. Um, we are working with a local self-defense organization to bring a first aid class to the center. And so it all becomes about bringing the community together, protecting each other, helping each other grow and heal, and in doing so, really just benefiting the whole community.
What are some of the things that motivate you?
Personally, everything from the small things of seeing the kids and teens that come to our pop-ups that we had a kid over Pride who just didn't want to leave our booth because they hadn't finished the book yet. Um, and their parent or guardian or whomever was with them had to like make them a deal of like, all right, we'll go buy you this book so that you can finish it, but we have to go now. Um, and seeing how much the representation that we bring to the table really resonates with people and makes them feel like they belong. And just hearing the stories from people of how much we've helped them and seeing the light in a kid's eyes when they realize that there's grown-ups like them, like all of that is really what brings me joy and motivation in this.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. How does it feel for you to hear these stories?
It's simultaneously heartbreaking and hope-giving because on the one hand it brings me a lot of joy to be that representation and see someone not feel alone.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the fact that they felt alone in the first place is itself heartbreaking. So it's very bittersweet.
So, where do you want to see your mission, say, in the next 3 to 5 years?
So I would love to actually be able to have a building of our own. Right now, we have an office where we also have our library headquarters in the Service Source building in Oakton. So we are able to take people on an appointment basis to come check out books, etc. But my goal in the next 3 to 5 years is to actually have our own building so that we can just take walk-ins and have more foot traffic and more events and be able to really be the community hub that we are trying.
What are some of the things you do to help your own mental health?
So I'm a very creative person. When I am off hours, I do a lot of crafting. So I just picked up a floor loom the other day because I've been learning weaving.
Oh, nice.
My goal at some point is to go completely from like raw fiber to finished garment and have done every single step in between.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
So it's pretty fun. So it's that all that creative and like working with my hands and making things is a lot of what I do for mental health and just joy.
How can people reach out and learn more?
So they can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Nova Prism Center. We are also our website is novaprismcenter.gay, and you can also email me at and our main email address is info@novaprismcenter.gay.